Welcome back to another video. I've got the Javelot Pro, which is a new light from Olight, and this was sent in via the company for review. This is a bit different to your normal lights because you get a hard case with it. So what I'll do is show you that first off, and then we get on to the light in a bit more detail. The case they supply with this is very much like a Pelican style case. It's a hard case with the foam inserts that are cut out inside, and it does feel very nice quality. It is water resistant as well, so when you close it up, that seal around the edges will prevent any water from getting in, and there is a pressure valve on this that you can unscrew, and that's if you're going up at high altitudes. Not something that I do myself. There's a rubber washer on the underside of that, so when you screw it in you've got the full water resistance, but you can open it out and that lets out pressure evidently. Can't really test that, I'm not a high altitude kind of person, but if you're flying or up a mountain, that is something which might come in handy. Here is your user guide, which I'll show you a bit later on, and we have a magnetic charging cable. This one is different from the previous Olight ones. It charges at a faster speed and the diameter is also larger. Moving on to the supplied holster, this is quite a nice quality one. You have a sort of hardened material on the inside, so it holds its shape. It's probably plastic that they put under the nylon material. There's your D-ring, and you also have the Velcro fastens on the back, so you can attach that to a belt. And we move on to the light now, and this is the Coyote Tan edition. Dimensions are on the screen as per usual. Evidently there's another edition of this apart from the black, which has a darker tan. I don't know if that's available in Europe. This is the one they sent me, so it has more of a gold appearance, but perhaps not quite as much in person as on camera. Just the one tint on this, and the LED on this is a neutral white XHP 35 high, smooth reflector of course for a long range torch. And notice the grooves on the head as well, that will prevent it from rolling around, and they've done a nice job on the design with this. I will show you the switch up close. You have a sort of dimple effect on it, and there is a battery indicator behind that as well. The main tube on this is quite different. They've gone for a very thick pattern with grooves in it, unlike the traditional knurling that you see on a lot of lights. Initially I wondered if this is going to be comfortable, but it does feel pretty good in the hand. Two-stage switch on the base or tail cap, so you can feel the position of it, very much like the Warrior X that I looked at some time ago. Unscrew the base cap, you'll be able to see that there are contact points. They are using a proprietary or custom battery pack. There is the grease already pre-applied to the threads, it's well greased up. Unscrewing the top, you'll see the contact spring there, and again we have the top of the pack which is sealed in. I did try and put a screwdriver on this, but I couldn't get it open, so whether they thread locked it I'm not sure, but it is what it is. Unfortunately I am not a fan of the custom built-in batteries, so you'll have to replace this, and I think it's about $50 or something around that, and I don't like that, to be honest with you. Leaving that aside, they have done a nice job on the styling and design. It is comfortable and it does feel very nicely made. For some reason there's nowhere to attach a wrist strap, although you might be able to get one on the groove pattern. Bit disappointed in that because I do use a wrist strap quite often, and I'll show it to you with the light inside the holster. It does take a bit more pressure to push this through, but I think they've done a good job with the holster. It is a nice quality one and it holds the light very securely. As far as compatibility goes with the magnetic charging, because it's larger it's not going to charge the smaller lights and it's a faster speed. The smaller normal magnetic charger does, kind of. You have to move it around a little bit sometimes, so it's not going to work. If it's in a backpack it might not charge it, but it has some degree of compatibility, albeit at a slower speed. UI has changed a bit. Now it's a push and hold for about a second, and then you just single press to cycle through the 4 power levels, and then a slightly longer press again to turn it off. I assume they've done that so they don't have to include a lockout. I've not had any issues with it accidentally activating myself when I've been using this for most of the week. UI on the base or tail cap is very much like the Warrior X, so it's a combination of a half press or a full press, and whether or not you hold it in gives you access to your momentary. I think it works quite well, doesn't take too long to get used to, and you can easily feel when you're at the halfway point. There is one thing missing though, there is no strobe on this light for some reason. That's another small thing that I would have liked to have seen included. If you want to check the battery level when the light's off, you can just give it a quick press and it will come up with the indicator. We have a 4-stage battery indicator with this. When the light is on, that will always display As far as a mechanical lockout, a quarter turn will stop the base or tail switch from working, but you'd have to half unscrew it from the top point to prevent the side switch working. So they have changed it a bit, although you do get used to it quite quickly. Not a huge problem for me, but I do like the original user interface. As far as water resistance goes, there was no problems at all. Also, the magnetic base is strong enough to hold it if it's pointing downwards. Charging speeds on this are around about 1.5 amps, just over, so you're looking at around about 5 hours to charge this from flat, and these are the batteries that they're going to be using in that power pack, 3500 milliamp hour, and they're using 2 of those. User guide is very straightforward on this. They do a hunting kit version where you can get filters and a gun mount. Obviously I don't have that, so I can't give you any feedback on that particular kit, but have a look at that if you need to. And I'll move on to the beam shots, starting off at the lowest level at 15 lumens. About 100 foot away you can still see the shed lit up, and up to the next level things start to spread out a bit. Once you get up to the high point you certainly notice the spread, although you do still have the hot spot in the middle. The tint on this isn't super warm, it's definitely warmer than a cool white, but I quite like it. There is a little bit of a shift, and once you go up to the turbo level then you've obviously got your maximum range and output. It's fairly hot at the moment with the weather, so I was getting around about 5 minutes and then it was dropping down, but I'll run some more beam shots so you can have a look, and then we'll come back with some thoughts at the end. Giving you a quick summary with the Javelot Pro, I do quite like the torch overall, certainly in terms of the body, design and styling. It's a comfortable torch to use, very simple user interface, and you get quite a nice bundle included with this. The one thing that does annoy me, and it has done for a while with Olight, is this custom or proprietary batteries. In this case you can't use other cells. I don't really see the point of that. to be honest. A lot of users are going to have 18650s around, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to put those into the light, so that definitely takes the edge off of it for me. The other points are pretty small. An extra power level might have been nice. It works okay with the 4 power levels. Do weigh up the pros and cons on this to see whether or not that's going to be an issue for you. Got any thoughts on this? Do leave a comment below as usual. I think it is useful for companies to get some feedback on products. This is just my own personal opinion, and thanks for watching the video.